Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919 Truth to Sports coming to you with another segment. Want to get right into it. I want to talk about this Cormani McClean situation and the way that I look at it and how I look at it. I look at it from a different aspect. I think a lot of people look at it from Coach, because they defended Coach Prime, and they're just looking at it strictly from that point of view. I look at it from the point of view of the kid and the parent. So that's the angle I try to take. So let's get right into it. Everybody knows Cormani is a 5-star athlete out of high school, but what a lot of people don't talk about, that also can come with certain treatments, whether he asked for them or not. A lot of favoritism that doesn't always prepare him for what's coming down the line, especially when he runs into a coach who believes in some discipline like Coach Prime. So I want to talk about how I feel about it. So first of all, one of the red flags for him was he switched schools his senior year. And normally if you switch schools your senior year, you're going to like a national private school program or a traveling program or something of that sort, a program who plays, on national television, et cetera, et cetera. So, but he didn't do that. He actually switched to his rival high school, which was another red flag for me. I never imagined going to my rival high school, leaving in high school, and definitely not in college, but it just never occurred to me. Now, if I had to move or something, that's different, but me just transferring because I can, especially going into my senior year, I just could not see myself doing that at a rivalry high school. That's just like you playing for Duke or Carolina or State or Carolina, that you transfer to one of those schools your senior year. It just seems a little weird to me. So that's another red flag. These are not going against him, and you'll understand as I go through the through my segment. So that's another red flag. So there's two red flags. They're letting him just basically move around and do what he wants, which is a red flag. He stood up Miami on his signing day, which wasn't just rude. I thought it was disrespectful. And that told me he didn't have the right people around him, because someone would have told him, listen, man, if you're not going to do it, just cancel it. Don't have those coaches come to the school, set everything up, cameras and all that stuff here, your high school and all of that, and then you don't show up to that event. That's another red flag, not just for him, but for people around him. If he wasn't going to Miami, they should have never allowed it to get that far into the process to where Miami actually traveled there and was going to do, was going to sign and put the hat on and all of that stuff. And that's another thing I want to talk about later. I despise that stuff. You're going to college, you're not going to the pros. He did switch to Colorado, which I understand him switching to Colorado. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand the lure of Coach Prime in Colorado, and I understand that. And you got to remember, he's a kid. So he goes from standing up Miami, which was a red flag to me, to transferring to Colorado. Another thing that bothered me about his announcement was he announced his decision on a national podcast called $1 Million Worth of Game, and and they have 1.55 million subscribers, and that's a very known podcast in the hip hop community. So it's Gilly and Wallow. They run that particular podcast, and it's a very popular podcast, as I just said, and all of that hoopla. Another thing that was a red flag to me was he ended up dropping from a 5-star to a 4-star, all because of the commotion, because obviously they judged him off of how he was treating Miami and how he was going about his business. But I sit there and I watched him on that podcast, and I watched it again before I did this segment, and he was surrounded by seven family members. Again, this is a kid who's going off to college. He's not going off to the pros. He didn't sign a $5 million deal with some Dallas or somebody like that. He's just a freshman going into his next part of life, into the process of football, going to college. So he's surrounded by them. It was like a 9-minute and 45-minute segment, and Gilly Wallow and Cormani's mom talked the whole time. I think he maybe talked 10 seconds, and they completely took him over. They was talking for him. They was telling him what he was getting into, et cetera, et cetera. So he's just sitting there looking shy as always, and I'm just looking at it, and it was really bothering me because of all of the talking they were doing. They didn't understand how much pressure they was putting on him. 5-star or not, you may see him as a 5-star player. I saw him as a 5-star kid, meaning 5-star or not. I know he's a kid going into a college situation. He's going into a major program in a major conference, a Power 5 conference, and it may not be as smooth as they think it's going to be. And to me, I understand that. That's okay with me. He needs somebody around him saying, listen, man, you don't have to go save the family your freshman year. You need to go to school and get acclimated to college, get acclimated to the program, get acclimated to going to classes, get acclimated to getting harder coaching, from Coach Prime and all the coaching staff there. You need to learn to be away from home. Like I don't think anybody taught him about this. And I actually did a video that did very well talking about things from Cormani's point of view. So I'm watching that podcast and I had butterflies on my stomach because I just did not like the way it went. And you all can type it in Cormani and what's the name of it, $1 million worth of game, and kind of look at it and see what I saw. And I just thought it was unnecessary pressure put on him. I think he went into that. He arrived at Colorado with that pressure. He's also very, very, very shy, which you can easily tell if you watch the well-off videos. And I'm going to tell you, I do blame some of the adults. I blame both of the coaches because they came out later talking about how he was in ISS a lot, in school suspension. And my question to them is this. I mean, you released that afterwards, fine, after his first year in college, fine. But what did you do when he got in trouble? Did you suspend him from some games? Or did you suspend him for a half? Or did you suspend him at all? Like, what part did you play in it? Mom, not talking to her personally, I do not know her, but she's, a lot in the forefront when it comes to him. What type of discipline did you all give him? Did you give him at home when he kept getting in ISS and school suspension? So I'm talking to the coaches and to the parents. What was done about this before he left and went away to college? Because he took all of those bad habits and bad traits into college, obviously. I don't hold it against him. I mean, some of it is his responsibility. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a kid who we label as a 5-star, a perfect player, a player who could easily go into the NFL, even though they can't go into your junior year, going to a Hall of Fame coach, and the expectations that we put on him, I'm saying we because we're all included, is, astronomical. And I can't imagine the way he was feeling, especially when it didn't start off right. When it didn't start off right, I understand why he shied away from everything, because he couldn't struggle and learn without the world knowing about it. He was constantly on television. But I get into the college part of it. I want to stick to the high school part. So he go into $1 million worth of game, and Gillian Wallow just talked how great your coach is, even though they don't really know Coach Prime like that, how great the school is. They don't know nothing about Colorado. He's going to grow into a man. You don't know when and how he's going to grow into a man because you don't know the situation he's coming from. You don't know he's deathly shy. You don't know that he does not like the limelight. But you all are putting him in it. Y'all put him on one of the biggest podcasts out there. And he was surrounded by 70 family members, as if he's going to take care of all 7 family members his freshman year. So that's how I saw it. I titled this, "What did Cormani really do to people to make them so angry?" or something along those lines. And this is one of the reasons why. We got to stop putting this type of pressure on kids. They're going off to college. They're still kids. That's what being a kid is, and that's what being a freshman all the way up to a senior is, because you grow into a young man or a young person or a young woman. But we put way too many expectations on him his freshman year. We expected him to be great out of the gate. I did not, and I have my videos to prove if you go back and look at it. I put him on the face of him because I really sympathize and empathize with him as I was watching his career start off at Colorado. I never thought it was going to start off great because of the expectations. Even for basketball, I hate when they label somebody a one and done. They don't become a one and done. They go into their sophomore year and everybody's looking down on them, which I think is sad. It's really sad what we do to kids and our expectation levels. He has at least into a junior before he can be a pro on the NFL level. So why not let the kid grow? Why not let him struggle, make mistakes, and grow from it? That's the fun part about school and college is you look back on when you was a certain age and how much you've grown. But we did not give that kid a chance to even grow. As soon as we saw him stumble, we shut him out. We talked bad about him. We talked bad about him in the media. We talked bad about him in the comments, and they really tore into the kid. So I'm a believer in him. It doesn't have to happen overnight for me. That's what I think a coach is supposed to be. I'm not blaming coach if he did get rid of him, because I wasn't there. So Cormani could have just, Coach Prime, for all I know, could have been wanting to work with him for a couple of years, or Cormani wanted to leave on his own. But as the adult, as a coach, I would have did all I could to keep him. Because that's really what you do when you take a kid. You don't take, every kid you take is not a ready-made kid. And I think we lose sight of that. So I'm going to get into the second part when he goes into college. This has been part one. What did Cormani really do? This has been Hunt 919, Truth to Sports. Ride with me. Hey, how y'all doing? This is Hunt 919, Truth to Sports, coming to you with another segment. There's a lot of people that are called 5 stars coming out of high school that you never hear from again. Because I thought you made a huge mistake. It's been Hunt 919, Truth to Sports. Ride with me.